And the only person who can tell that story is you. And you are the most important person to talk to them about that, because government is happening, policies are being made. And if you're not telling them why it's important to you, then they're making decisions without you.
Climate change affects everyone's health because we have more weather disasters and power outages, more intense hurricanes doing this to your house, heavier rains, more flooding. This is what I've already talked about. Longer, hotter heat waves, more pollen and air pollution, increased and new vector-borne diseases. A vector-borne disease is one that you get from another animal.
Why is it important to protect it in a prioritized fashion, perhaps over other areas? So we all rely on ecosystem services. This is a basic model here of how this works. You understand the bottom three circles. You have a natural resource, it performs a function, which gives us a good or service. So classic example, a forest or a wetland, it filters water, gives us cleaner drinking water. An important thing to remember here is that all of the things that nature does for us, when we lose it and we have to re-engineer it with concrete or pipes or whatever it is that we're using, it's going to be way more expensive and probably not do as good a job as the original service provided anyway.
A little bit after 1960s, certainly by 1970, what we see is the global averages still bounce up and down because of the sort of regular fluctuations in climate that we understand, bouncing up and down, but relentlessly increasing on average. Okay, so we are a completely different place here than we were down here.
How long do we have to act before the damage or rate of climate change becomes irreversible?
Less and less time all the time. We've known about this at least since 1970. And here's the problem. People don't like to change what they're doing. Okay. We need a new way of thinking about things, and people don't want to change.
See, Connor has a quick question. So how do I make these testimonies?
So once it comes time, once the bill has been filed, the county will have what they call public hearings on the matter, where they'll invite any Howard County resident to come speak for 3 minutes on the issue uninterrupted. And it's during that time that you have 3 minutes uninterrupted to talk about why you support the legislation. And what's nice is that students receive the privilege of being able to speak first and sort of skip the line. Besides speaking in person through this sort of testimony fashion, you can also write letters and sign petitions. So regular citizens can meet with county council members and ask them to support and sponsor legislation. However, the gap between having an idea for a good bill and actually getting it sponsored, that is a very wide one to navigate. And so if you have a good idea for a bill, reach out to your local county council member, perhaps to all of them. We only have 5, and see what they think, try to arrange a meeting. But be prepared to hear no a lot and have to go back and revise and rework what you have to say.
This was a really important talk for where we're going to be going with our collective climate action starting in January. I'm going to give you guys a few seconds, but when you've gone through all this beautiful information, pulling from these slides, what could you and your chapter do as a potential action project? Okay, I'm seeing some great stuff. Clothing drive, yes. Thrift store, yes. Composting, clean energy, increase recycle and composting, food saving campaign, food share table, nice. New recycling systems for schools, yes, please. Cooking related site or books with sustainable recipes, that sounds awesome. More environmentally food friendly options, more public gardening areas for pedestrians as opposed to cars. Love that. Plant trees of different types. Absolutely. Pedestrian safety to promote more walking. So many great ideas. And a lot of these things where we live, our county is working on them. Not everything, but a lot of these things, which is great.
I just want to end by saying we can have this good future. We can still have it. It's not too late. But it is time to start visualizing it and working toward it and doing the solutions that I outlined today to get there. So I'm happy to take some questions.